Good afternoon. My name is Richard, and this is a video from Platinum Crypto Academy. Wow, so Monday, what's been going on? Lots of interesting information to get through today, starting with Binance shutting down process in America. We all know about that, but I want to talk about it. I want to talk about how there's been reports that there's now negative yielding bonds across the world and how that's impacting the crypto space. I want to talk about how the trade war continues between America and China, who's winning, who's losing, where we're at, and how that affects cryptos, of course. And finally, I want to talk about a couple of smaller stories which I find really interesting. Um, Elon Musk, absolutely love what he does. Modern day Iron Man, isn't he? He's been termed it many times. Backing a presidential candidate that's bullish on cryptocurrencies. So really interesting and thoughts that I want to get into on that. But anyway, right, let's get stuck in. And before I get into a couple of the major points, there's one article I released last week on gaming esports. Could this be the answer or a route to mass adoption? I implore you to check this out because I've written about this topic before, and with the recent, um, media coverage surrounding the Fortnite competition, I think it's really pertinent. So just get in there, have a look. It covers a couple of the projects which are major players in the space and why I believe they'd be worth getting involved into anybody's portfolio, really, if they're interested in this side of the industry. And it gives you a bit of rundown on that. So check it out, see what you think. So I think I mentioned the first story I wanted to talk about today was the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, or commonly known as FUD, um, over altcoins and the US as Binance closes the exchange or access to their exchange. Now, for US citizens. Now, I'm of two schools of thought on this. One, anybody really wants cryptos is going to be able to get hold of any altcoins they really want to. I know there's all the regulatory stuff, but I really think that if you're really keen on a project, you're going to be able to do something to get it. You've got VPNs, etc., and options. I don't know how they're blocking those things. They might be able to. I'm not that technically minded, but I assure you there's ways to get into it, I'm sure. But on the general side of things, does that mean there's going to be a sell-off on your altcoins if people are going to be selling them off and just getting out of Binance? One thing to worry about, I suppose, for all you altcoin holders out there, it could impact the market. I know Asia is the biggest market. America obviously has got some clout behind it, so just keep an eye out for that. And maybe it's an opportunity to buy. Who knows if you're not based in the US? Another thing that I want to talk about today is this crazy trade war between America and China. Now, there's a couple of stories out there. So how and who is winning this trade war? Well, let's. There's a really good article that I covered, or not covered, sorry, read recently about Trump's currency war with China could be Bitcoin's do or die moment. Now, relating it to cryptocurrencies, the issue is that, firstly, there's several banks in China that I don't know if it gets reported that much in America or in the UK, but I found a great article on how the Chinese government are really bailing out banks left, right, and centre. It's the third one now that they've bailed out recently. Like it was in America, like it has been in the UK in the last financial crisis, they seem to be going through a similar situation, and whether the trade war is impacting this or not is just another bit of bad news for the Chinese economy. And so, how does this relate to Bitcoin? How does it relate to cryptocurrencies? Well, look, if the normal markets are struggling, and we've seen reports time and time again, I've written about it myself on how, or blogged about it, vlogged about it, written about it, safe haven investment, Bitcoin or gold. Well, whether it's Bitcoin or gold, Bitcoin and gold seem to not relate to markets. So when there's negativity going around, they seem to either be stable or go positive. And so with the current struggles in China, with China suggesting they're becoming a bit more bullish behind cryptocurrencies and how they've got their own digital currency and it's ready, this just screams to me that, look, let's see a Chinese on-ramp to Bitcoin and it's all going to just pump up and we're all going to be happy. But the fact that what I'm trying to bring down is that there is lots of uncertainty, and I think the US is, has to say this, I could be wrong, but looks like they're winning this situation. But with the, I think, let me just see if it's this blog that this blog right here. Here, look, China can't cut rates and ease and boost negative PPI as food prices are exploding. China can't halt soaring pork prices as half of its pigs are dead or slaughtered. China can't, oh dear, there we go. Let me go back. China can't raise the yuan and ease the highest CPI in 16 months as it's currently devaluing in retaliation to Trump. So there's like a trifecta of problems going on across China. And this great report by Zero Hedge. Now, I've never met these guys, but the bottom line, Trump now appears to be winning the trade war with China, whose economic contraction is accelerating. And between slowing trade, sliding corporate profits, rising inflation, devaluing the yen, a record debt loan, and sudden crisis in its banking sector, Beijing has found itself paralyzed with zero credibility options how to kickstart its economy. That's a very bold statement to make, and if it is indeed correct, it's showing that America are winning this trade war. On a side note for that, I mentioned about the safe haven asset of Bitcoin and gold. Well, if these things are coming to fruition, well, the Chinese economy is going to not collapse, but it's going to go through what I suppose the Western side went through the last time. I think that, how is this going to affect us? Well, portfolios are going to diversify away from the normal verticals and go into maybe the more crazed at the moment cryptocurrency market. How is that going to affect it? Well, firstly, obviously the on-ramp is Bitcoin, but then all you bag holders of altcoins, you may see some trickle into that. And what I'd like to see is the market capitalization just creep higher and higher and higher throughout this process, and that's only going to be a good thing for all those early adopters. Another thing that I'd like to talk about is how, which is quite cool really. I like Elon Musk, like what he does. I think he's a visionary. I think he's the new, modern day Iron Man that I said earlier. He supports pro-Bitcoin US, and one thing that I can see that would be really interesting, as this article suggests, I think it's this one. Let me just double check. Pro-Bitcoin, yeah, I believe he's accepting donations in cryptocurrencies, which for me immediately screams pumping him hard by all the Bitcoin holders. If he is, those whales that love Bitcoin, as if they're not going to just plow cash into this guy, just so they get a pro-Bitcoin president in place, and how things would change if that was the case. I don't know how much power they have regarding the regulatory bodies as being a president, but you would have thought that the president, if he's pro-Bitcoin, he's going to help that process along, isn't he? So I'd check out this article. I really think it's interesting, and if you do get a chance, have a look into it in a bit more detail, because I think this can really, stuff like this, a real fundamental event. I'm not saying he will become president. I don't really follow the politics massively in America, but even if he got close, that's going to bring again more coverage surrounding cryptocurrencies, and that can only be a good thing. So in the introduction I mentioned negative yielding bonds and so on. I wanted to go into that just briefly, because what I found is this article here. A Danish bank is offering mortgages with negative interest rates. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? That means for example, if you borrow $1,000, you have to pay back 990. There may be fees on top, as there would be with any loan, but you're paying back less than you borrowed in that sense, which I think is really pretty cool. It just shows, it's just indicative of the current global economy. Banks want money, they want liquidity, they want to be able to trade. Now they can make that up on the trading desks if they need to, and that's probably what they're going to do, but they want to get the capital in to really make it, they needing capital. Banks need capital, and so they're offering negative interest rates on people's mortgages. So I just checked this out. I thought it was very interesting, but again, it just indicative of the global economy, how struggling it's doing at the moment. That banks are basically going to pay you to, I'd say that's wrong, not pay you, but you're going to have to pay back less in terms of your actual loan than you borrowed. Crazy, eh? Anyway, check that out. I thought it was a really interesting story. How again does this affect cryptos? Well, look, if the global economy is going to slowly diminish, people are going to continually look for other options, as I've said already in this video. Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies could be one of those options. Now for us, I'm looking at a day of, it's Monday. Let's see where the rest of the week goes. But as this continues, I can only see more whales, more institutions, more banks, more everyday Tom, Dick and Harry putting their savings, a percentage of it at least, into an alternative vehicle rather than normal traditional spaces. And in the next 5 years, it's going to be normal, I believe, that everybody's going to hold some cryptos. Anyway, that's my thoughts for the day. Hope everybody has a great week. Speak to you soon.